Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Dale. We're on Yak's Ben, and we have a fantastic show for you. The MAAD King has returned. A particular Halloween racing achievement sparks a bit of a discussion. PvP titles returned to the next PvP season, and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow hosts. He is a moderator over at MMO Champion and host of Zero to Hero on this very channel, and also Vote to Kick. It's that time of the season. Will he dress up as Deadpool, or maybe one of the people from Guardians of the Galaxy? I can't wait for that Gamora cosplay. Say hello to Jim.
No, I am not doing green body paint for anything.
Oh.
No.
Why?
Never say never.
I said never. Too late. You deal with it. Also, yay, titles are back and they still mean jack shit to ranked PvP.
Yeah,
Titles are back? What?
Yeah, they're going to do that for the next season. That doesn't
Arlie,
we'll get there when we get there, and I'll have another one of my mini rants. Hi, everybody.
She's an editor at Guild Mag. And my update thing, what's the update now? Maybe later. She's an editor at Guild Mag, writes for MMORPG.com and also her own site, MMORly.com. Finally, another host will get to hear her mighty roar. Say hello to Robin. Come on.
Yay. I love doing that too. Yeah, no, I have no idea what's gone on in Guild Wars 2 outside of the Halloween stuff because I've been focused on all of the Halloween things for the last couple of weeks. So if there's other things that have happened, I'm excited to learn about them.
Let's learn about them together. Come on, everybody.
Yay.
Oh, my God. Oh, so now we're helping.
Please.
Yeah, we got to do it like a kids show. Like, come on, everybody. Let's learn the news together.
Okay,
Let me get the handy dandy notebook.
We're edutainment now.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Also, if the show disappears in the middle of it, it's because Deo's computer decided to update.
Well, I told it no, so yeah, it might happen. True. So yeah, hopefully you all get to see this show. If not, you know why. So yeah, the Halloween patch has dropped this past Tuesday. The MAAD realm has opened again. It is active till November 6th, so you guys do have a good bit of time. Not as long as, you know, the Winter's Day stuff, but still a pretty good chunk, I'd say.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's almost as long.
Mm-hmm. The annual achievements have been added to the Halloween rituals category. So completing every annual achievement during 1 year will complete the annual Halloween ritual meta event, rewarding players with a spooky new miniature and a completion of the repeatable annual rituals achievement.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the mini is kind of like the candle weapons that we had last year. It's just basically a mini candle, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty cool.
But not like a candle like Lumiere. Just, you know, a candle.
Yeah, it's like a spooky
It's got
candle.
a face.
Yeah.
I don't know if it speaks with a French accent, but
And does the waltz with feather dusters.
now we just need a spooky feather duster next year.
Yes.
For a pet.
And then you can throw both of them in the Mystic Forge.
Oh God.
Get them like as a pair. Like,
Yeah. They dance around together.
Yeah, you could throw them in the Mystic Forge with a Queen Jenna and then like some kind of Char mini to be like the whole Beauty and the Beast thing. There you go.
have the whole Guild Wars 2 Beauty of the Beast cast.
That'd be amazing.
There you go, ArenaNet. You're done for next year, right?
Yeah, we've already figured out next year for you guys. We're good.
That's a couple years, I think.
Yeah. It could
Oh
be a
yeah,
whole
they'll have to give us one at a time. Well, everybody's got the Queen Jenna, so they'll just have to come out with a new Char or something. But also, I think we talked about it last week, was the Reaper's Rumble has returned after since year 1, so a 5-year hiatus. Yeah,
the first one. Yeah.
So
I
mean,
cool.
how?
So like 2 kind of downsides of it. The ones that I've been in, it seems like I don't know how the queuing for it works exactly on the back end, but it seems kind of fluid. So like I went into one and blue team had like 4 people and red team had 3 people, and then they went down to 2, and then they had 5 people, and then suddenly we had 3. Like it was really weird. I don't know how all of that works. Like, I haven't really seen a game start with both teams being full, which is weird. Like, you would think you would at least both start and then there might backfill if people leave or something. And then the other thing is like Most Excellent Hat says people have no idea how to play it. A lot of times what I've seen is people are just like focusing on killing each other instead of, putting the pumpkins in the mausoleums to get your skeletons to go attack the things and then attacking the things to destroy their structures and whatnot. But it's fun. I've had fun when I've done it, but it's also like, I guess because it's been so long, or people might not just be familiar with that game mode.
I'll say maybe people aren't realizing that it's more of a MOBA style tactic of a game.
To be fair, there are people in MOBAs who just run around. And I mean, this is actually, if you want to think about it, you can take this to a more Overwatch-esque kind of thing where it's like, it's a payload map, but everybody's, diving the enemy backline for kills and no one's pushing the payload except for that one person. And then like players on the enemy team are like, oh, they're by themselves. Ping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's objectives, people.
Have you had a chance to hop into it, Malfanis?
No, I want to. I want to.
I was gonna say, because I remember when we were talking about it, like, way back, you were like, "Oh, I wish that would come back," and now it is. It's like
now it is, and I want to play it. But...
We should schedule a night for a bunch of us to get on together and play it together. Because I totally would do that.
Well, I don't think we can group together. ArenaNet, hey, how about figure that one out for the next one? Because wouldn't that have been great to do? Yeah, that's.
I always forget that's been broken since the first year too, hasn't it? Like.
Yeah, I think the last event I could think of wasn't the first Winter's Day you could group up and then.
Well, you could group up during Dragon Bash. There was a PvP event thing in that one, and you could group up with your friends and do that, because I distinctly remember that. But after that point, I think is whatever happened where you couldn't do that.
I think they kind of used like the activity system.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't queue as a group for that, and I don't think
I think that's right, because originally it was tied to PvP, but they separated it. I don't know why, but there was a reasoning why they needed to separate it and not have it be like tied to PvP stuff. But yeah, nonetheless, you can't queue for any of the activities like the Clock Tower or Reaper's Run or Lunatic Inquisition, any of that stuff as a group.
And maybe that's what I was thinking was what Kit was saying was in Winter's Day they finally got it working. Maybe that's what I was thinking of Winter's Day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. It makes me sad.
I know. It is one of those things that is such a shame where it's like you were saying, it's like, oh, hey, yeah, we could all go in together. But we can't. And, in a festival thing, like it's like.
Yeah.
Hopefully that is one of the things on their list to eventually figure out the tech for that.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, I understand, because one of the things that I remember with the Dragon Bash PvP event was that it was frustrating when you went in there by yourself and you were facing, a whole team of people who were together. And that's a thing in regular PvP anyways. Yeah. And it's a particular problem in festivals, because festivals are supposed to be about fun and enjoying yourself. So when you get that, it takes some of the fun out of it, but also not being able to play with your friends kind of takes some of the fun out of it too. Like, I remember it was one of the things that got me through the Clock Tower that first year, was being able to do it with my friends and like talk about it after everyone, be like, oh, how far did you get? Like, where did you mess up? What could you do better? And just laughing together. Like, I totally screwed that one up, It was a lot of fun.
Playing with your friends in MMO, what a novel idea.
Well, speaking of that, Dale, we always have a discussion on, the single player MMO player. Spoilers for Vote to Kick this next week.
Yeah, but and kind of like what QD is saying is kind of hinting at the next thing that came out, which was actually completely new and returning, but I guess it can't be completely new and returning.
I was gonna say Dale.
Sorry. It was the Mad King's Raceway. And oh boy, did that come with a surprising issue. At first, there was so basically this is another little race. You could use a beetle, or you could rent one.
It's on the Reaper's Rumble map, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently there was a specific achievement, the Mad Drifter achievement. I think originally you had to change it. I think you had to do it within a minute originally.
Mm-hmm. You had a set amount of time. I don't remember what the time was, but
yeah,
I think they increased it by 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, I think it went from a minute to a minute 30, which, you know, everybody's saying now it's easily achievable.
Yeah.
And
like anybody should be able to make it through, essentially.
Yeah, I think people have said they've even done it on non-beetle mounts. So
I made it on my Jackal when I was goofing off around in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, but I wasn't even really trying to maximize it. So yeah, I could totally see it as being doable on other mounts.
So I know it did spark a bit of a discussion of, you know, there's the side that thinks this is completely unacceptable. They should have kept it as is, like stop caving to, you know, the masses that are just crying about, you know, you have that side, and then the other side is, you know, saying that, you know, they're glad that they made that change, especially because it is a festival, you know, which I think that brings up the question I'd love to ask you guys, and like to hear chat's things of where they stand on it, and maybe do you agree with the idea of, since it is a festival, it should be more easily obtainable, not necessarily super easy, like just walking in and you get the achievement, but
right. So as somebody who still hasn't gotten her a beetle mount, I have a question. So they mentioned, one of the things I mentioned was that the drifter achievement no longer requires drifting, which is, I know, I get the dissonance there, but how does drifting work on the beetle? Is that like one of the unlockable skills that you unlock, or like? Do
you have the Griffin?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so there is a secondary mount skill, because you can hit V to do the standard movement, and then C is the secondary key. Like for a Griffin, that's to climb.
Okay.
Instead of just the wing flap. With the beetle, if you hold C, you'll drift as you go into it.
Oh, okay.
So, and they also added one of the base functionalities is you regenerate stamina faster as you drift. So the more you drift, the more you boost, the higher your overall
stamina. And then you can go faster and faster.
Yeah. So, and Magnus, I would agree with that, but I have, and again, this is kind of prefaced with the fact that I haven't done the race yet, so bear that in mind. If this was supposed to be something hard, like something that would need to be done, like you put a lot of effort into it, I feel like it should not be part of the meta.
Right.
It's supposed to be difficult. If this is supposed to be an expression of skill, it should not be part of the meta. If it is part of the meta, I don't have a problem with them bumping up. Like, obviously, you said you did the race in like 2 minutes, 10 seconds, I think you said, on a Jackal.
Yeah.
So obviously, yeah, you can do it on the beetle by putting forth a bit of effort, which I think is honestly one of the, like, the clock tower is harder than a lot of jumping puzzles, but once you know the path, it's really not super difficult, and you know that, okay, I mistimed that jump, that was on me. It's like a lot of other jumping puzzles. It's not like stepping stones where server lag can cause you to fall.
Right. Yeah. Well, the other thing with the clock tower is that there's a feeling of being pushed, of being rushed, because like you're losing it as you're going, which adds to the difficulty.
Okay, so CQED, that's the other thing I didn't know, because I've literally just been able to log on for 0 to Hero this past week. I haven't even looked at the new meta. And so there's only 9 needed for the meta. Then just remove it from the meta. Just make 9 out of 9 needed for the meta. Leave the stricter time in, let it go.
Well, but you know, people are also saying, it's like chat saying, it's being play beetle better. you have 3 weeks to do it, because you have to, this is a festival, you have to adhere to everyone in that sense. So you have to master and get better with the beetle in 3 weeks, whether regardless you had it 6 months prior, because I know that was a big thing that was drummed up was, yes, if you are playing the content from the get-go, yes, you had 6 months to do it. But since you can rent a beetle, some of these people are new to come in, and they're required to master the beetle within 3 weeks.
Wouldn't free-to-play accounts be able to roll in on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. It's one of, like, that's why they have the rentals of the things for the races, because it's a way to give people a taste of what the mounts are like, to incentivize them buying the content.
See, Magnus, that's achievement points have never been anything but participation.
Yeah, I was gonna say achievement points are BS to begin with.
They've
I don't
been
like
achievement has been the wrong word for the points since they were introduced in games.
Yeah.
They are an arbitrary expression of how long you've been playing a game.
Yeah.
Granted, there are some achievements that are actual achievements. I am not taking away from that, but those usually have other rewards other than here are achievement points.
Right.
So yes, exactly, QED. Some of them are definitely like hard mode on certain raids, challenge modes in fractals. Those are achievements. Those are meant to be super difficult.
But that's the thing. It's like,
well,
I would like to see a percent.
I
was gonna say, I'd like to see a percentage of that. I would generously give you 10% of those are actual achievements.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I'm being very generous.
Now, secondary, I would advocate for the stricter time limit a little bit harder if this was available year round.
Right.
Like if this was something that was just in the game as content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it was on one of the new living story maps, like the one that introduced the beetle mount, then yeah, sure, because
like
you can go to it whenever.
People are still competing for the top score on that. Before I think it was DeRoyer actually put out a video of him. It was either DeRoyer, Wooden Potatoes, or Boots put out like a 21-second video.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, for the beetle training race.
Uh-huh.
And it, like the last gate bugged out because he got to it before it like really registered.
Oh right. Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't know. I feel like a better solution might have been to have there be 2 achievements: a harder one that it takes a lot of work and effort to get, and an easier one that you can get more easily, and only have one of them be required towards the meta. So like that you wouldn't have to get both in order to finish it, but for the people who can do the harder thing.
Well, technically, if you do the harder thing, you by default get the easier thing. So make the easier the meta trigger, and then make the harder one for an actual achievement.
Right. That would have been a good solution. But like, I don't know. I don't understand. Honestly, my issue is I don't understand the people who are pissed off about them making it easier.
Because you still have the points.
Yeah, like it.
Now, I do have a question. Does it have a leaderboard like other races?
Yeah, it does.
So you can still compete, get a faster time, and have your name show up on the leaderboard. Well, isn't that basically what people do for the races anyway?
Yeah. I mean, like, who looks at anybody's achievements? Like, seriously.
You can't.
Exactly. Like, so why does it matter? I don't understand why it matters to people that
AP only matters to an individual because it's just account boosts and skin unlocks at this point. I mean, sure, you get some golden laurels out of it, but
right.
And it's just like, I've never equated a festival in any game to be challenging content. It's flavor.
Yeah, to me, it's all supposed to be fun and having.
Like, I understand some of the reaction, but I honestly feel like it's a little overblown.
Right.
Like I get that. It's like, yeah, but we did the harder thing, and now you just be like, oh, here, make it all easier. And I get that.
Right.
I do. I understand that. But at the same time, it's like there are people that are getting really worked up over it, and I'm just like,
yeah, you'd think they like nerfed a raid or something. Like it honestly feels like that reaction.
Honestly, raid nerfs are gonna. raid nerfs are going to come more in the form of like new future elite specs, but
yeah.
Bless you. But
Magnus's AP is skin unlocks, and that's why people raged.
Hellfire and Blessed, and then also the Zenith and I can't remember the purple crystal ones, but the weapon skins. I
guess.
I mean, all of those are meant to be Pinnacle. Thank you, Hat. Those are all meant to be like super long-term rewards.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is 5 AP breaking that bank? Like, it's 5 achievement points, is it not? I think
it's 5.
Like,
well, to be fair, it's a bit of a drip feed anymore because, like, it's literally come in the form of living story and and festival achievements. That's how you get AP anymore because daily caps are a thing, and then I mean there were people who were monthly capped. That wasn't me.
All right.
I still have my monthly achievement points for a couple of those. I miss monthlies.
Yeah, but I feel like even the argument about AP and skins is kind of limp because, like, seriously, if you play the game long enough, you're going to get all of that shit anyways. Like,
well, see, Magnus, not everyone is a winner, but that's the thing is there's no real winning here.
Right.
5 AP.
Yeah, in the stance of achievement points, but also not everybody's a winner. Okay, you have the leaderboards that clearly shows it.
Honestly, I always thought that stuff like races and the adventures were always going to be about the leaderboards. Like people would be like, okay, I did the gold, I got the mastery point out of it for the Heart of Thorns stuff, and then okay, I'm done. And then there'll be those people who had a shit ton of fun.
Right. You want to push it and see how good they can do.
Drop an AP infusion? Oh, just a cosmetic one? I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, no, I totally expect that.
I thought you literally meant one that gave you stats. I was gonna say if they do that, I would say no.
Or the utility infusion that increases AP gain. Really weird.
Yeah.
But honestly, like if they drop an AP infusion, they put in an AP infusion.
Yeah.
That if people like their glowy particle, honestly, I think the people who like their glowy particle effects are the people who've been playing the longest. So they're gonna have the AP to be closer to it in the first place.
Right.
Like, but yeah, if it's cosmetic, I wouldn't be surprised if it ever grows up in
probably
the
amount of time
achievement. Yeah, because there's slowly people reaching the end for the armors and back piece flavor of the armors. I'm sure there's gonna be a Hellfire and a Radiant infusion or something. One that makes you super sparkly and the other one that puts a fire effect on you or something.
Gee, Deo, just do their jobs for them.
You can leave the set of legendaries at my doorstep. But yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case down the road and, whatever other cosmetic things we have. But
either way, I think to wrap up this whole thing, I think it's just
right.
It's a non-issue, I think, in the grand scheme of things. Like if this was nerfing like raid encounters, maybe I'd have a problem with I'd give more merit to they're making the game for casuals. But like Deo was saying, this is a festival. They're basically supposed to be for people who are casual players.
Yeah.
Like that's the threshold here.
Yeah, I've known lots of people that would play MMOs, and in particular one I can think of is WoW. They would only show up for the festivals. Like, they weren't like, but which is not a bad thing. It's
just what it is.
Though I do like the mentality that I did see popping up of people, and it happens with every argument is if you don't like something, don't play it. I have to say these are people clearly that aren't, and personally for me, I'm not in the gaming industry either, but these are, I could imagine people that aren't in the gaming industry or have never had a chance to make those types of decisions because I always go back to this WildStar. We don't mind carrying to the 5%. I'm like, how does NC Soft, the people paying your bills, feel about that?
Yeah.
Guess how that worked out. Like,
hashtag poor WildStar.
But it's like the people that are trying to get butts in the seats don't want to exclude people, because guess what? If you exclude them, the butts aren't in the seats. Like,
right. Yeah.
and especially on, like, I can understand this. Like I said, once again, it was about a raid, but this is a festival thing, and it's like people are like feeling like they're gonna die on this hill for this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, really? There's a lot better things to fight about.
Right. That's the part that concerns me. Like, I understand being upset, but I don't. There's a certain level, and like I don't understand the rage that I've seen from some people over this. It's confusing to me.
Yeah.
Like, of all the things to rage about, it just, I don't know. It seems silly on some level. But
seems
yeah,
maddening, which is very festive.
But like I said, I'm also coming in from the angle of somebody who has not finished getting their beetle roller either. So like that maybe colors my perception a little bit.
And honestly, it's coming from someone that has gotten their beetle and hasn't really done much with the festival. I probably won't run that race, whether it's even like you have to do it in 5 minutes. Like I am the type of player where I'm not going to play something that I'm not interested in, or you know, unless I have friends, which unfortunately you can't group together. But yeah, I don't know. It's just weird that it's being fought over of a festival. But good luck to the people that are angry. I shouldn't say it.
Theo.
What?
No, I'm just laughing at you. You're
well,
like,
I like the mentality of, you know, not everyone is a winner. That's just how it is. You're right. Mm-hmm. The people that are complaining about it, you didn't win. Congratulations.
Oh.
What? Pouring salt on the wound there? Well.
Yeah. A little salt there.
I love me sometimes. That could be taken wrong on the internet. Anyway.
During the bots.
So I mean, most of the other Halloween stuff kind of, you know, came out. It was basically the same. It seemed like mostly. It looks like it looks like, you know, apart from what we just talked about, but it looks like they did help deal with it sounds like the scaling, because they say the minions of the Mad King and the rebels in the Mad King's labyrinth have been slightly toughened when fighting larger groups of players, which yeah, I'm wondering if chat has noticed anything like that.
Honestly,
like, if the scaling has been better.
Honestly, I'm just from last year's experience, good, because it's hard to tag shit.
Right. Yeah. Well, the other thing I noticed was running around the labyrinth. A lot of people were, what one was it? There was one of the champions. A lot of people was like, we don't want to fight it because it's too hard.
The candy corn golem, because they don't want to bring reflex or some shit.
Right.
I thought it was the Lich one, because if you screw that one up, like with all the skeletons,
it's not as bad anymore. If you
initially screw it up, okay.
Because scourges exist, and one of the biggest problems was the protection, retal, and might that the minions got. Now that scourges exist, it's just like you don't have boons.
Right. So. Kit was saying it's the candy corn and the skeleton guy people are trying to skip now. I just remember
people are trying to skip what other ones are left?
I don't
know. The guy with the chainsaw great sword.
Well, I was gonna say, I guess that is which skeleton guy, the Lich in the bottom corner, or the skeleton guy that appears out of the walls.
Just people just want to.
Wow.
Because so that was my experience when I was in there. The candy corn guy was up. I was like, everybody come over here, we can get him. Like, everybody was like, no, we're not doing that. I'm just like, why? He's here, kill him. And then we go kill other things. Like, I don't understand.
Maybe they should put a timed achievement in there so people can go in there.
Kit, spam that petty emote a little bit more. It's like, yeah, people only do the mob doors now, the ones that spawn. Like, what are people only do? Oh God, max bags per hour. It's a festival.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got to maximize your time. Be efficient.
I mean, That is the thing. It's like most of the festival stuff isn't like a drop so much anymore. It's more of getting candy corn cobs, which you need candy corn, so transferring it into 1,000. So it kind of fosters that. I mean,
well, like, so I guess it's just me, but like I don't even pay attention to the rewards or any of that shit that you get out of it anymore. I just participate in the Halloween stuff because I like the Halloween stuff. I like literally have no idea what you use the candies or any of that stuff for anymore. I don't pay attention. I open the bags, I deposit it in my bank, and that's it.
So you get the candy corn cobs, you buy the new skins, and that's it.
Okay. I just, yeah, like I said, I'm for Halloween event, I'm I guess the 0.001% because I don't pay attention to the rewards at all.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like the festival rewards, honestly, more often are kind of intended to be spread out like years, because it's a thing that is going to keep happening.
Right.
So
I was like, I'm still working on my snow shoulders.
Yeah, it's mostly just drinking alcohol at this point.
Yeah.
About to take place. Hooray,
what
Winners
a festival.
Hooray, Winners Day, encouraging alcoholism in characters. I don't want to spend the gold to buy it all.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, chat is right. This year, it's like...
There's no new stuff.
Well, technically there's one new skin that you can earn that's a hidden skin using the last year's skin. For people that don't know, it's the Touch of Fog, I think, which you use the Touch of Madness, which is the fiery kind of focus, but the Touch of Fog is just basically fog around your another focus skin. But that doesn't drop or anything. It's basically putting the Touch of Madness in there with a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like chat was saying, it's like there's no really new skins, just new minis that you can get from the festival. It's a torch.
So that's also a thing. Like, I don't care about the minis. Like, when have I ever said
wait, what?
Who are you and what have you done with Arlie? Oh, wait, you don't care about these minis.
Yeah, these minis. Like, literally all I want to do in the Halloween event is do the things and have fun. Like, I don't care about any of the rewards, even the minis.
Honestly, I use the labyrinth to test out new builds.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well, that's one, you can use it to power level new characters like nobody's business, because it's constant events and constant killing stuff. So it's great for that. Two, you can use it to test new builds because you've got the 3 different bosses, and then you've got veteran kill events and mob kill events. So you've got a lot of different ways to test a new build.
Wait, you're saying there are new weapon skins? I thought, the dagger and stuff, right? Those actually come from the bags? Because I have not seen anybody report about them. I completely forgot about them until you guys are like I'm trying to think. I was like, what one's in there? Because a lot of stuff kind of got put into which we'll get to, put into like the Blackline chest or gem store, so I completely forgot about those. That I guess they are just random drops from the bags themselves, but that would be the dagger needle skin, the axe cleaver, and what was the third one? Sure, chat will, but
chat will let you know.
Yeah. Oh, chat's right there with me. The butcher knife sword. Okay. Remember, and they can't remember the other one. So I guess the other one wasn't as memorable, but.
Oh yeah, I always forget about the right click preview on bags. Like I forget that that's a thing anymore.
Yeah, I always equate that to it just works on the Blackline chest at the time. But it doesn't tell you your drop rate chance.
Have to play on the Chinese client for that.
Yeah. But got a great infusion the other day. Oh, that's it. The sword is the lightning rod. Yeah, a lot of people didn't seem too enthused about that one, which it didn't seem all that great. But you can get those as a random drop, so. But I don't know, just I guess I retract my statement a little bit, but we still did get more stuff in the gem store compared to.
Right.
I mean, I guess if you want to count minis, but
I can't.
Even
I
our
cannot-
expert mini person is like, I don't care about those minis, so it's like I feel like they shouldn't count.
Well, no, because Arlie wants the cute minis. Arlie
Yes.
doesn't want the Halloween minis.
That's true. Like, I liked there was the Quaggan pack that they were all dressed up for Halloween. Those were cool.
Deo has wanted those forever, Kit. I remember when we started the show.
The paper bag masks.
Yes.
Oh, no, scratch that. I remember when I joined Game Breaker Nation, Deo told me about the paper bag helm skin. Like my first Halloween back playing this game after not playing for 2 years. Deo's like, "Oh my god, I want them to have these skins," and it's just
maybe
like
they'll come this year. Yeah.
never.
I wish, you know what I wished? I wish they had so the second year they did the Blood and Madness where they brought in the prince and all of that. I wish they had continued the story so we got more of the background of the Mad King and all of that, and like some of his other wives and things that happened and whatnot. Like that would have been really interesting, and maybe had more things happen between the king and the prince now that he's around again, you know?
Yeah, I'd like to see that story eventually progress.
Mm-hmm.
I never got to finish it when it was still in.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I got like halfway through it the last time it was in.
Oh, that sucks.
That's a shame.
But yeah, me and Deo were talking about that, maybe at least bringing it back, if not continuing it. So
Right.
Hopefully.
eventually.
Yeah.
I do like this note that there's more areas of the labyrinth you can get to. That sounds like fun to look at.
Yeah, and the ability to use the mounts in there and gliding and stuff is pretty cool too.
Well, you can use the mounts in them last year, right?
I don't remember.
I want to say yes.
I would assume so, but
Yeah, because I remember people were mounting up. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh, I did get a kick. I guess I never talked to the the ferryman guy, you know, next to the doors that tells you about the different areas. I apparently never talked to him about the mounts last year because there's this whole thing about you ask if you can use mounts and he's like, blah, blah, yeah, you can, but just be careful. And then he asked if you can even use the skimmer. And he goes on this whole thing about how you can use the skimmer, but be careful because the Mad King doesn't really like things that float that much, which is like, wait, what? Like, I want to just like go all around there on the skimmer floating around to see if like he has a reaction or something because.
Well, it might be due to, because I think if you try to glide down or use your griffin, I think it puts like a debuff on you and they'll knock you off. I think that might be because since it basically slowly lowers you, so I'm guessing that's what it's possibly meaning too. But
I was hoping the Mad King would yell something funny at you.
Enough! And just throw you off the map.
Candy corn missile comes out of nowhere and knocks you out.
Right. You think you're all high and mighty. Anyway.
That has to be in.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on Halloween, the Halloween event in general?
It's fun.
I was say, are you guys enjoying it so far?
Apparently, like 6 years off from Clock Tower has made me really bad at Clock Tower.
Yeah, you'll pick it up in no time.
I know, I'm improving. I'm improving at a much higher rate than I did the first time, but like the fact that I have finished it multiple times over and now I'm struggling is a little annoying.
Our chat is saying if you touch the walls near the Mad King, he randomly teleports you and pins you to the ground for like a minute.
Nice. I like it.
All right. Well, that was Halloween, but there were a couple other things in the patch notes this week. So basically a couple little tweaks to the last living story, so Star to guide us. Basically more tweaks to the boss fight in the from the Ashes instance. So the sniper will no longer increase her firing speed after the player uses certain skills.
Yay. Stupid Deadeye.
The sniper will no longer shoot gliding players more quickly.
That was frustrating. Can I just tell you? Oh my God. Like I was cursing at her.
Please tell me you record that. That'd be amazing.
No.
I did the instance as a guardian, so
Oh.
yeah, that was fun.
The sniper will avoid shooting players who have Defiant Stance active. So, and some elements of dynamic difficulty have been added to assist players who still struggle with the fight.
Oh, interesting. So, like, if you die a certain number of times, it might get a little bit easier.
Honestly, I didn't have too much of a problem fighting her after I got to her.
Right. It was just getting to her.
Right.
That's how a sniper always is. It's like any long range class.
Drive me crazy. What really annoyed me also was like when you would hide behind some of the barriers and it'd make that line of fire and you wouldn't be in the fire, but it would still damage you.
Yeah.
That annoyed me.
Some general stuff. Players, as I was reading this, I was like, players can now equip gear. I was like, I think we've had that for a while now. Players can now equip gear except for weapons, which still stick with me here, people, while their inventory is full. So,
oh my God.
So that's a nice little tiny quality of life.
Yeah.
How often was that a problem?
I mean, before I bought all my inventory slots, I ran into that a lot early on. Especially when like you were dungeoning a lot and then you would like break your gear, so you would have to carry extra sets of gear and stuff and like all of that.
Is that like back from the very beginning of the game before they put the anvils at the start?
Yes. Like you used to not be able to repair while you were in there unless you had one of the canisters with you and you didn't have the slots. So like, you know, most people weren't carrying around bank access or those things. And it was terrible. It was
Harley, you just need to get good. Learn to beat
right. My bad.
But see, the thing that makes me stop and wonder about that is like all the things that would make this like a quality of life improvement feel like they were removed from the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an issue people run into less, but I would imagine it's probably a bigger issue for newer players and people who haven't expanded out their inventories that much and stuff. So
yeah, I'll admit for any of the characters that I actively play, I have like a minimum of 20 slot bags. So
right.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
It also looks like a new tab has been added to the Blackline Exchange Specialists that will allow players to acquire toys corresponding to unlocked costume brawl outfits. So
yeah,
if you accidentally deleted them or they got lost in the shuffle of many characters,
so like the Executioner's axe, basically.
Yeah, if you have the Executioner's outfit, it will let you buy the axe, I guess.
Probably either just free and it throws it in your inventory, or like for a trivial amount of copper.
Yeah. Some little profession tweaks. Necromancer, Spiteful Spirit. The area of effect damage inflicted by this trait has been split and will now use a 50% reduced value in PvP and World v World.
Nice.
Not enough.
It's never enough.
I can get into that in a minute, but I'll let you get to the warrior one first.
All right. Ranger, the Windborn Notes, fixed a bug that allowed the Ranger to avoid certain death scenarios. Interesting.
What? How did I not know about that? Come on.
The trait heals you whenever you gain regeneration.
Mm-hmm.
There's a minor that gives you regen when you drop below a certain health threshold.
Oh.
So there were instant kill mechanics that were like, this just automatically does your max HP and damage, but then you drop below 50% and gain that regen.
Mm-hmm.
So you would suddenly have more health, like you'd heal as the damage was coming through.
Right.
So,
that's funny.
Yeah, that just sounds like you're beating the mechanic.
I'm sad that I missed that. That would have been fun.
Honestly, anything that's supposed to be insta kill, I think it should just do like 900,000 damage.
Right.
So
Warrior, Winds of Disenchantment. The skill no longer pulses the instant the spell is cast. Instead, every second after casting, The total number of pulses is reduced by 1. The duration of this skill has been split, and it will now have a 5-second duration in World and PvP, while retaining a 10-second duration in PvE.
Good.
For a second, I thought you were going to be against this, and I was like, wait.
No, the no fun zone needed nerfed because, okay, so there was a thing that I was noticing when I would play WW is that there was the suicide bomber warrior would roll into the choke point bubble that hit Winds of Disenchantment. And maybe they get out, maybe they get alpha'd, but they get the cast off.
Right.
So you've got this bubble that you can't push against because it destroys projectiles, it strips boons, and it prevents boons from being applied to you.
Oh.
So now it loses a tick. So now in WW it only has 4 ticks. So that's 4 boons removed from, I believe it's a 10 target cap. It might only be 5. I could be wrong. But if you have Winds of Disenchantment and then there's another Spellbreaker trait where when you rip 1 boon, you rip from people around them. So there's potentially just an absolute ton of boons.
Wrecking ball, yeah.
You rip a ton of boons from a Zerg. So
can I just say, it sounds like that skill was ticking you off?
Well, the problem I have with it in PvP is that it covers the small capture points.
Right.
The only capture point it does not cover the entirety of is the center point in Faux Fire. Yeah, Faux Fire. The graveyard. Let me see here. QED, what are those idiots smoking? Yes, for PvP and WW it's a necessary change, but there's no reason to change to PvE other than making it even more annoying for the Spellbreaker rant off. Well, the only PvE change is the first tick. So they lose 1 tick of boon strip. So it's really not that crazy of a nerf in PvE. That and one of the things with a lot of skills is like the first tick has like a delay to it. So it's like instantaneously you have that up. And at the very least, it's not stripping boons, but it is blocking projectiles. So yeah, you lose a little bit of functionality, but it's still the projectile block as well as the boon strip for the 9 seconds after that.
Right. And it sounds like for the most part, it's still pretty worthwhile to use. So
the first tick makes up for 80% of Weaver Dragon Hunter Soul Beast Burst in PvE. I didn't think it gave a damage buff.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like, is this for rating QED? I'm not following how this is a burst thing. Precasting. No pain, no gain. Fractals.
Too sure about that.
Mistlock instability, no pain, no gain. Enemies receive protection, might, and fury when you hit them. Okay. So you delay burst for a second. It's still a 9-second no boons. So it doesn't and burst. I've never seen a burst combo last more than a generous 5 seconds for any game, really. So you roll into the fight. Okay, so QED, precasting, you're talking about setting things up before the fight. No, I get that. But, like, this just offsets it by a little bit.
Yeah, it just basically means that you want to, if you're going to precast it, you precast it right before the fight, not like, you know.
You can cast almost 80% of your damage skills even before the enemy model is. Yeah, I get that. Like, trust me, I understand the mechanics of how abilities work and how they're layered. I mean, I don't have necessarily the mechanical skill to get up to, like, you know, the higher tiers of fractals just because I don't have the time to practice it, but I understand the concept of it. And it's just delay for a little bit. It's not all that crazy. And honestly, it's a blow to fractal strategies, yes, but work around it. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's still
super useful.
Yeah, it is. You'd remove the protection and you'll still remove the protection with Winds of Disenchantment. Honestly, if you get the Winds of Disenchantment up, they can't put the protection on because it prevents boon application. Like, I'm
not seeing how it doesn't allow them to.
It's too late. Like a second later is too late.
Well, I guess it's because now it's harder to precast, which I do have to laugh at the idea of you almost cast 80% of your damage skills even before the enemy model is visible. I was about to say, so that's what our challenging content is? Fighting something before it's actually there? Like, I just feel like that's a cheap way to say you're beating something.
Creates an area of calm.
You're fighting something before it's there.
Create an area of calm where foes cannot receive boons and lose boons every interval. Projectiles entering this area are destroyed. So it's unblockable. It strips boons as it ticks. It prevents boons from being applied. I'm not 100% sure what the issue is, other than it just slightly delays the boon stripping.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have a conversation on this later.
Yeah,
I'm really interested in.
And, if you're watching this on YouTube and you also have an opinion, throw it in there.
Also, the thing with Necromancer with Spiteful Spirit, that's the when entering Shroud, cast the AoE burst that corrupts boons.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to fix Reaper damage. Reaper damage came entirely from Reaper's Onslaught. The perma quickness.
Mm-hmm.
Like Reapers roll in, they spin to win, and you're dead.
And it's fun.
Don't be so smug about it, Arlie. And that on top of the crazy amount of chill is also a little...
Yeah, they've been struggling with that for a bit, like the balance between those things with Reapers.
Well, honestly, I didn't mind the Reaper's Onslaught change in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because then it can be countered because it's a boon as opposed to you attack 15% faster.
Mm-hmm.
But that on top of the crazy amount of damage buffs Reapers got like 2 or 3 months ago in Shroud.
Right. Well,
that's what the problem is.
The other thing is too, like, I feel like with Reaper a lot, there's a very fine line between being overpowered, being good, and being useless. Like
that
don't
seems to be
have
just a
to
necro thing.
Much. Yeah, like the slightest change can change it drastically between the two, and there's a very narrow where it's good.
That's kind of why I'm not surprised that the Spiteful Spirit change is such a small thing. But
well, a nice little quality of life for PvP and World of Worlders. Dungeon weapon reward track boxes are now stackable. So, yay.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a problem, but I'm glad I'm glad it's, fixed.
Well, I would assume people would probably just would just open them usually.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But next up we have the PvP titles returning for next season. So it kind of came up on a discussion on the forums about whether the PvP titles should come back or not, and a dev actually responded and said titles will be back for next season. So
I mean,
I don't care.
I mean, it's something. Like it's a step in the right direction.
No, it's not. because if they're not doing anything to fix the previous match fixing,
right,
then it doesn't matter because it's just going to go back to being the same thing.
Right.
Not to mention, if the titles are back, it's literally just for like the top 200 players.
True.
Like this still, like for everyone else, your rank still means nothing.
Right.
Like I would love for the fact that I was like sitting in, I don't know where I'm at. I think I was in mid gold 2. Like for that to actually mean something, but it won't. Exactly, Magnus is like, who the hell cares about the title? Like most of the time, I had this conversation with Aaron during one of his streams over the week. It's like the titles don't matter. Generally speaking, people have the meme titles anyway. Like he has God walking amongst mere mortals, and he has that because that's the Hall of Monuments one, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then other people, like I know Krista rolls with the Dark Traveler one, and that's from doing the Labyrinth or the it's from doing Pac-Man in Silver Waste.
Yeah. I think I usually have the jumping
distinction and applied jumping.
Yeah, just because I'm so jumping challenged that I'm proud of that. So
I was gonna make that comment, Cutie. It was like how Jim's saying it's for the top 200 people. I was like, or the people that pay for it, or
right. Like that's the root of all of it. Like they need to figure out a way to shut the win trading thing down.
The problem is they can't tell us how they're going to fix it.
Right.
Because like I'll use MMO Champion as an example. We keep our rules on the forum intentionally vague because context means everything.
Right.
So,
and as soon as you tell people how you're going to prevent something, they'll find ways around it.
Because they're like, well, I'm not breaking the rules that you explicitly defined.
Yeah, it's like the whole little kid. I'm not touching you.
And Netco, you have a point. Is like the different colored title or bolded or like with an effect to it, but that's what the crowns are for arenas,
right?
For automated tournaments. That's what those are supposed to be. So I
don't know. They need to do something. Like I think this is what I was talking about a while ago with you is when we were doing 0 to Hero, because WoW kind of has a similar thing where their PvP has been falling off a little bit, but to the PvP people, it is still like there's still a community of PvPers who are all in it and interested. And part of it is because that every season there's the title and the mount that only a certain number of people can get, and you can only get it for that season. It changes every single season.
Right.
So it adds a limitability to it. So it gives people incentive to work towards it. And I may just not be in tune with the PvP scene enough, but I don't remember in the last few years, at least, there being an issue with people like win trading or anything like that. I remember it used to be a problem, but somehow they solved that more or less. So like, I feel like there needs to be more incentive to draw people to do the PvP things that they can only get in that season.
Unique weapon skins.
Right.
Like honestly, like, me and Deo talked about this when the automated tournaments came out, or when the WW tournaments came out. You throw out, look at the explosion of popularity the PvP got whenever they introduced Ascended gear from PvP.
Right.
And then they completely flubbed the rewards by adding those stupid Grandmaster crafting marks. But yeah, I know, Deo. But you do, and that's the thing, is like they have the obsidian weapons, but those aren't PvP unique. Those are PvP and WW.
Right.
You need Black Lion ticket quality skins.
Right.
This is a rant I had on Twitter. You have Black Weapon ticket quality skins. Set of 16 weapons, because we don't care about the underwater weapons anymore. And they need to introduce 4 tickets for getting legendary, 3 for platinum, 2 for gold, 1 for silver. I'm sorry, but bronze gets nothing. There has to be an incentive to get better.
Right. Yeah.
So you take those weapon sets, and there is 1 set that is available for a given amount of time, for like 4, 5, 6 seasons, however many you want. And then it gets rotated out, and then there's another set. And yeah, in the future, you can get back to that first set, but you have to wait. Sure, you can hoard your tickets, but you have to wait to get that set. So.
Well,
wow, Kit. Typos. But And Magnus, I kind of agree with that with the meta changing, but with the shorter PvP seasons, like I feel like PvP season hits and there needs to be minimum changes during the PvP season.
Right. Yeah.
But then take all that data.
Yeah.
Take all that data, make big changes to stuff that you think needs changed, and then just hammer out like either tap down or bump up things to align during the season. I agree about meta changes, but the problem is you can't just change things for change's sake. So, and the only problem is you're really only going to get big meta mix-ups when another expansion comes out. Because this isn't like League of Legends. They're not releasing a new champion every 3 months. So.
Yeah. Well, while I don't want to bring it back up, but you know, this is the thing we were arguing about the festival achievement thing. Like you're saying, bronze doesn't get anything for these time limited, you know, reward skins. Why would it differ? Why should it differ?
The only thing that is different, and this is honestly why I like having discussions with you, because you're great for devil's advocate. You're fantastic at it. The only difference here is that a ranked, and this is exclusive to ranked PvP. The whole point of it is to get better.
Right.
The first 2 seasons of Zero to Hero that I was in bronze. Ended bronze 2 the first time, ended bronze 3 the second time. Because I was playing a dumbass build. I wasn't paying attention to the map. I was fighting off point. I was bad. I was bad at PvP.
Aww.
Yeah. That's the point. Zero to Hero.
Right.
Like, and QED also has a point. They threw out automated tournaments and then went quiet. And then we had the whole like slap on the wrist debacle. And people had their accounts banned, but they weren't banned from automated tournaments. And those are the names you see associated with automated tournament wins every monthly. So you need a way to get butts in the seat. And that means a mode needs to have a unique reward. Originally, I thought that was going to be the Ascension. I thought the Ascension was going to change. Like you'd have 4 to 6 seasons to do it. And then they changed the legendary skin.
Yeah, they kind of talked about this was the year of Ascension. Like, you could get it afterwards, but it'd be hard. It'd be more difficult. Like it,
and it actually got easier.
Right.
The way they changed the achievements. I kind of thought that, you know, which version of the Ascension you got would be a thing that people would talk about. So,
well, it also just feels like PvP as a thing itself is not something that ArenaNet focuses on at all anymore.
Well, that's exactly what QED just said, is they threw the automated tournaments out and then have them silent.
Right.
So,
like, I don't even know who's running PvP. Like, is there anybody?
Like, at this point, on a ranked PvP is just unranked plus. It has another reward track from the pips.
Right.
So, like, there's no point to your rank, period. At least this season, because the titles aren't even in. You get if you play well, which I really wish people would not give up after the first mid fight. If you get a close win bonus, that's a maximum of 6 pips on a loss, when the maximum on a win is 11. So you've got a fairly sizable amount of pip progression on losses. So there honestly, Guild Wars 2 is a fantastic PvP game. It's just there's no real, like, why should I play ranked PvP?
Right.
There's no, like, what do I get for prestige? There's a badge next to my name. What's that matter?
Who said that, QED? That Guild Wars 2 was supposed to be PvP focused? Because
he means Josh Davis said that at some point.
I can't imagine after Guild Wars 1 that there would be.
Yeah, I was gonna say Guild Wars 1 put that idea to bed completely, because by the end of it, it was more about the story than it was about the PvP was still good, but
well, like the thing with Guild Wars 2 also, when they were doing the league tournaments and all that and the ESL, like they were really excited about having PvP being a focus and having that like have a lot of lifeblood and a lot of things going in it, a lot of effort going into it, and they were doing a great job with it. But even then, it wasn't like the main focus. It was like a shared focus between.
Honestly, the only problem I had, like watching people like watching the ESL matches, the only problem with the ESL matches was the meta, because it was the bunker condi meta. And like I remember watching a match and it timed out. I don't even think the team that won got to 250 points.
Oh wow.
It was
crazy.
Just they took 2 points for, I want to say 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had their home, the enemy team had their home, and mid was just decapped and there was just constant fighting. I remember the casters getting super excited when somebody went down.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, and then somebody like a chronomancer threw gravity well down and res them, and it was back to the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know if I would agree that ESL was the PvP killer, because when they were there and they were active and working on it and focusing on it, there was a lot of life in it. But as soon as like Corpening and Josh and all of those ones left, and they stopped putting effort in it, and then ESL dropped them after that, that's when things started falling apart. You lost the people who were putting the time and the energy into it and didn't replace them with people who had the drive to do that, apparently. We lost so much. Like, I still remember 2013 being at PAX East and watching that tournament with Orange Logo and shit, I forgot their name. Anyways, that
Drag
other
55?
team. No.
It wasn't Dragons? Okay.
Mm-mm. It was some team that pissed me off and I was happy they lost.
Right. Weren't you at like a party or something and they like one of the people did something to annoy you or something?
Oh yeah. So we had one that Char the Ritlock statue, and they were there and we were having all the players who won sign the box. Not just all the people who were in the final four team. Absurd. Yes, it was absurd. Oh my God.
I like how it went, yes. Like the
so like every member of Orange Logo was completely nice and sweet and agreed to it. I think the Dankening was another team that was there. They were great and wonderful.
It's a fantastic team name.
Yeah. And then the absurd, there was literally one team member who was willing to sign the box. Like, it's such a small thing, just sign the box. Like, we even got a lot of ArenaNet themselves to sign that box. So yeah, and the way they acted during the tournament rubbed me wrong, just in general. But nonetheless, like that whole thing, like I wasn't really into PvP or interested at that point. Being there and seeing that tournament, and like even somebody who didn't follow it that closely, it was interesting to watch. It was easy to watch. It was like I got pulled in really quickly, and I was cheering right along at all the different fights and everything. So the 2013 time frame of it was like kind of the height where they were really building things up, and it feels like they didn't follow through on it. At some point they dropped the ball and then just never picked it up again, and it's frustrating.
And can I actually say, and I think this is a problem with not just Guild Wars 2 and PvP, but PvP in general, is kind of like what you're saying. And I kind of hear it a lot of time from like Rooster Teeth and like employees and stuff like that, where like I know it's probably aggravating from their side of it, where it's like you can't, like, because yeah, you walk up to them and like, oh, could you sign the thing? I think it'd be pretty cool. Like I don't know the exact dialogue that went on, but maybe I don't know if beforehand they had like 20 other people do it or whatever. But right. It's one of those things where it's like maybe they don't realize it, and maybe even ArenaNet didn't inform them, like. Because it's not a common thing you think about, but while this might be the 20th time you've dealt with the same thing over and over again, you're annoyed by it. Right. This is the first time for that person, which, like you just said, you made it sound like as soon as you said that, you started to not care about the PvP. Well, if you take that back, you're taking that back to your friends, that group. That could be another reason why PvP didn't really flourish as well. Like,
well, yeah, and that's an issue that's like across the whole
Yeah.
ESL and the esports and stuff, because you're throwing a lot of I want to say young kids, but you know, they're like teenagers and early
well,
20s.
people that aren't good at being in front of the camera.
Right. People who don't have the public relations experience to know how to be, know how the effects of what they do and say, and to think through that. And they're not getting the coaching from anybody because nobody cares about taking care of anybody. They just want to make money off of these people. So, like, that's why we end up with these stupid things of all of these famous people saying idiotic, stupid things that you're like, why would somebody ever say that? It's because they're in the moment and they don't realize the larger implications of what they're doing. And, like, you know, it's tiring to have people focusing on you and wanting to talk to you and meeting you and stuff. It's exhausting. But you like have to maintain some level when you're in the public eye. Like, it's just the unfortunate reality. It sucks.
Yes.
But yeah. I don't know. Anyways.
But yeah.
Back to ArenaNet, like, I wish they had kept building what they were building with PvP, because they had the foundation. They had some really good things going. And then they just stopped. I don't know why.
Honestly, they had the talent for like, honestly, I think one of the problems with a lot of PvP is finding casters for it. Like fucking Jebro,
right?
Dude is amazing at casting Guild Wars 2.
Yep.
Like, he's got the hype voice for it. He's got the game knowledge for it.
Who was it? Blue that used to cast with him a lot? I can't remember.
Not 100% sure.
They were a good pairing. If it was Blue or somebody else that I'm misremembering, those two were a great pairing. Like, they worked together and covered things really well. And finding people that not only have the game knowledge to do it well and be that personable, but also who work well together and gel together that well is hard to find. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and yeah, and I agree. That is why I was saying it's kind of a problem in ESL and kind of gaming PvP, professional PvPing in general, is because I still remember. I think this was on a co-optional podcast, and Jesse Cox was saying he would love to get like some people that are halfway decent at a game to get into the tournaments, and like just great camera work, like turning it into like pro wrestling. Like, because you know, you think of it ridiculously, but I mean, you think of some of the pro wrestlers promos and stuff, it's just absolutely bonkers and rememberable. It's just trying to find that perfect match of they have the skill to back it up.
Right. I think the part with the esports and everything right now is we're going through growing pains of it, because we're just really at the point where people are like, oh, wow, we can make a lot of money off of this. Let's exploit the hell out of it. So, like, we're going through this tough period where things are not so great right now.
It's in the West, it's still considered like, oh, you play a video game? That's not a real job.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, I think we'll get there and it'll get better. The other thing is the esports league is like the only esports league. Like, they have like no competition. Nobody does things on big scale. And I think that's the other thing that needs to happen, is we need to get some competition against them to push back on some of their shady practices.
And QED, we're not saying that like it's the community that was at fault. Like, it's almost entirely on ArenaNet and the ESL, because there just wasn't the support from the company and the league side of things to assist the players, is what it felt like. And that, honestly, part of that assist is balancing. Like, that giant bunker Condi meta,
it was long.
That was 2.5 seasons of that.
Right.
And that was terrible. It was boring. And like, the balance team is part of the support structure of a solid PvP ecosystem. So
God bless Fortnite.
basically.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I was
Moving
say,
on to that
yeah.
that balance patch turned into the balance patch title thing turned into a lot of
There was a
extra
lot of good
conversation.
Yeah, there was a lot of good discussion.
Right.
But I jokingly talked about Fortnite. Talking about games in general. ArenaNet is actually going to Paris Games Week. Speaking of games in general, if you like Guild Wars 2 and other games, you can head on over there. So members of the ArenaNet team will be at the show from Friday, October 26th through Tuesday, October 30th. And they actually just put it out in the forums that they're working with their skilled runesmiths and trainers of the Desolation to bring along a little Tyrian magic too. What could that mean?
I don't know. It's in Paris. We'll never find out.
Oh.
Well, we have this great technology nowadays, like social media. Well, I don't want to say great technology.
Yeah, let's not call social media great. It's adequate.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of seems intriguing that maybe my guess here with just that little teaser there is, since they're talking about runesmiths and trainers and then Desolation, I wonder if they are going to show off or reveal a new statuette, like instead of the griffin that they've been showing off at the other conventions, maybe they're gonna have a jackal mount that you can maybe picture yourself
actually,
with.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So I don't know. Maybe if you're going there, maybe tweet out, because they're actually also having a contest if you're there. If you do hashtag GW2IRL and hashtag GW2 giveaway the contest and gem giveaway. So basically visit them in Hall 1 at booth A020, and they actually say ride a magnificent mount. They don't say which one, so that might seem more likely. Then snap a picture and share it on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag GW2IRL and hashtag GW2 giveaway, and you could win an Amazon gift card. So see, you can actually make money by going to this.
I was gonna say Amazon
why aren't we all going?
gift cards are no joke. That's awesome.
Yeah. Ooh, or a certain dragon. That's
a giant Aurene statue to take a picture with.
Oh my god.
Arlie's like, I'm actually going now.
I'm going to Paris now.
I don't know how. Unfortunately, unfortunately, Arlie's not in Paris, Texas.
Ah, damn it.
Wrong Paris, yeah.
But yeah, they'll also be giving away gems daily on Twitter while they're at the show, so definitely make sure to follow them for that. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I haven't heard too much about Paris Games Week until like a couple years ago. Like, just I guess because wasn't it Sony was actually, or no, maybe it was Ubisoft, since aren't they primarily French?
I don't know.
Developer. I know there was one that was like kind of withdrawing some of their material from like E3 or something and saving it for like Paris.
A lot of the developers they're the bigger companies especially are pulling out of E3 a lot and doing their own events around it and whatnot. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. But I swear it was one company that, okay, Ubisoft is French. It might have been Ubisoft then that maybe they were focusing on that being their more bigger reveal of a show. So if you're go ahead.
I was just gonna say it makes sense because like the big conventions like E3 and stuff, getting floor space is super expensive. And so if you have a less expensive option near to you, you would want to use it. Like, why not make that the thing?
Especially since like you don't have to, like, you can just say we're doing a convention for ourselves, and places have enough pull for that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, especially places like Ubisoft, like you're so big that you don't have to fight for coverage really anymore. You do a thing, people will cover it. So
I will admit, a lot of there were the big booths at PAX, but like I honestly felt more like I learned more about smaller studios at that. I found out about a game called and I just completely Omen Sight.
Omen Sight.
Omen Sight is a time traveling murder mystery RPG.
Yep, I reviewed it. It's great. It's a fun game.
I need to get it, but it's coming out on the Switch, so I'll wait for that.
Oh, I didn't realize it was coming to the Switch. Nice. Anyway, so with the PAX, especially PAX East this year, they actually pulled back about the amount of booth space they were renting out so that the walkways could be bigger so people can move around easier. And I think in the long run that was better because it was a better experience for us, but it also allowed people to focus on what was there more instead of being like, oh.
Well, that and it with it being a 4-day event this year, that made it a lot better.
Yeah,
because I could not fathom it being as packed as it was the previous 2 years.
Right.
It would also be a 4-day event.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of don't like the 4 days just because like by the end of the 3rd day, I'm like, I'm done. I'm tired. But...
Well, that's also because you're press and you're running around all the goddamn time.
Yeah. And the 4th day, I'm just like, my brain is fried. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Like I remember I stood in line for Ashes of Creation for 4 hours. Like it was close to 3 hours, I think.
Right. Yeah.
On that. And then I realized, oh, the reason it's taking so long is they're having a press event at the booth.
Yep. Yeah, that happens.
Well, I mean, ultimately, I think that's a good thing to go to. Like you guys were saying before I had to step away was, while you're going to this as a Guild Wars 2 fan, you can maybe discover a new game or, maybe there's a big presence from Ubisoft since it's kind of more home field advantage type thing. But you never know till you go. You could possibly win an Amazon gift card while you're there.
How much are flights to Paris?
More than probably an Amazon gift card.
Damn it. That's the one thing you cannot get through Amazon. You can't get airfare through Amazon. They need to fix that.
You go there, you go up to them like, I really need to win this. It's like, oh, why? It's like, because it's going to fund my return ticket home.
Because if I don't do win, that. I'm not getting home.
Don't do that, anyone that's...
Yeah, no. That's
a horrible idea. Unless it's like literally you live in France. Then it might hopefully cover it. But anyway, any final thoughts on ArenaNet and Paris Game Week? Well, maybe spend some money in the gem store.
Wow. No transition, just hammer it on home.
I kind of think of when I wanted to say something before my dog barked again.
That's fair.
Maybe they'll sell something like that in the gem store to mute my dog. Speaking of the gem store, always thank you to Dolphy.net. Check out Dolphy.net so you can spend your gems more wisely. But first up, we actually have the MAAD Realm weapon skins, which are actually one Blackline claim ticket, which, come from the
Blackline chest.
Blackline chest, that's it. I knew it was something.
I got you, bud.
Yeah. So, which you have to get keys and you have to spend gems for that one. So, but yeah, you can see them here. They kind of have like a dark, shadowy smoke effect to them, and I think some of them actually have a trail effect on them. But yeah, as you can see him panning through. I mean, I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are, and even chat as well. If
that great sword is.
Yeah, the great sword.
Wow.
If anybody likes the great sword out there, please tell me what you see in it. Because when I see it, it's like.
It's hard to tell on this because it's still. Is the black part like smoky or is it like solid?
Yeah. It's smoky. It's a little wavy.
Yeah, it's a smoke effect coming off of it.
That's cool. That makes it a little different because the great sword is kind of like, whoa, what the heck? But if it's a little bit smoky, that makes it a little more okay. That's cool,
Like these are pretty cool. I like them. Like there's this. I think that's the sword that looks pretty awesome. The shield. Like honestly, I feel like the shield in every one of these sets is like the one that's the the best example.
Yeah, because it's basically you get a pallet. It's like
you have a lot of space to work with on a shield. It's a cool set. If you like, the only part of me wishes there wasn't a pumpkin on everything.
Right.
But at the same time, it's a Halloween themed set, so I can't really fault it.
Right.
Also not associated with Mad Realms Productions.
And we don't claim to be. ArenaNet, please don't somehow
don't get
sue
mad
us.
at us, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're pretty, like, I honestly think the axe is pretty awesome looking.
I think they're all pretty neat. Like, there's none of the set that I'm like, oh, that's terrible. You know?
I can't say that I'm gonna go out of my way for any of them, because I'm not a huge fan of the like holiday themed weapons.
Right.
But they look good.
Yeah, I would say I like some of them. Part of me is still like, I kind of have my look set on my characters, like, and these don't sway me enough to like change it up. But they do look nice. I mean, so definitely you can pick those up for 1 Blackline Claim ticket a piece. So, and I believe they are tradable, so you can't get them off the trading post.
As per usual, they learned their lesson when people got mad about that.
Hey, I remember that.
But one thing you can get from the gem store straight out is the Night Fang Griffin for 2,000 gems, and it actually has an interesting night effect too. And then I combined both of Dolphy's videos where she shows the day and night effect. But
it's really cool.
Yeah. Wow.
No, Guild Wars 2.
This mount is like, this is a 2K gem mount.
Yeah.
Like, if this is,
although I kind of wish that the I remember, Dale, I think you were there. Was it, who were we talking to then? They were talking about it. Was it Hat that was saying it? Yeah, Hat brought up a interesting point that he kind of wished the wings were like bat wings instead of feathered wings. And I kind of agree with him there. Like, I feel like that would have been a better overall look. Like, it looks awesome. It still looks awesome. But
I see that being bat wings instead.
Yeah.
The one thing I would think, it like, the wingspan also seems a little small.
Right.
But then again, this is one of those, like, this is very clearly, you know, some kind of crazy necromancer stitched together a cat and some wings. So,
well, yeah, and that was one of the things we were saying. He was saying that the wingspan looked a little small, and I was like, I think it's because it's like supposed to be skeletal, and that's how we came up with the idea of if it had been bat wings, it would still get that skeletal look, but you could make it more
bigger.
Full. Yeah. So, but it's a cool mount.
It dies really well. Like, that looks really good.
And I think the night effect kind of like, you can see it's like skull more and stuff like that. Like, you'll see it here in
it's a little more ethereal, I guess would be a good word.
Yeah, but yeah, you can definitely pick that up for 2,000 gems, or what we'll get to in a second, you can actually get it out of the Black Lion chest itself.
Ugh.
But
and I will say that that's cool. You can see the skull in it. That's pretty neat. I like the ear twitches.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and even the eyes glow at night. That's
right.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's a specific dye effect, because you'll see it here in a second when they show it off. Like, when they dye it red, it's literally, I think, just the eyes itself. Like,
yeah,
maybe a couple other things, but yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't feel bad having the Griffin. Like, this doesn't, like, as this being, you know, months after the first 2K Lion mount, or the first 2K Griffin mount, like, I don't feel bad owning the Griffin. It's not, I don't feel like they've suddenly gone and made a better 2K Griffin mount.
Right.
So I think they've really hit, like, I honestly think they've really hit the mark on the premium mount skin, like, level of quality.
Yeah.
So if this is your shtick, go for it.
Also, any other thoughts on the mount itself? Would you guys like to see more situational changes on mounts, especially the 2K ones? I mean,
well, the 2K ones are always the mounts that they'd have the opportunity to go a little crazy on. So if they're going to be testing anything out, like transitional effects like this based on day-night cycles, particle effects, the 2K mounts are the place to do it. So, because that's I equate the 2K mount skins to the ultimate and legendary skins in League of Legends, and that's a point in time. Like a lot of the times in League of Legends, the art team and the modeling team, when they do crazy new stuff with the mount, with the skins, they often take that and move it forward into champion design and reworks and stuff in the future.
Right.
So I'm totally cool with, like, one of the original ultimate skins was Pulsefire Ezreal, which was, as you leveled up in the game, he had this tech armor, and it got more and more advanced as you leveled up through the game. And they actually went back and updated it after they got new rigging tech in the game. So anything they do with the mounts here, if they do something crazy with it, that can show up later in the game. It's in Vote to Kick on rating, one of my primary points, because I was arguing keep for rating, is that the devs have an opportunity in rating to develop new things for the game that can then be put elsewhere, because you have like a guaranteed skill floor for players in rating, because you must be this tall to ride, basically. Like, you have to hit a certain level of preparation for rating in order to continue on with it. So they have the opportunity to test new stuff with a certain skilled player base, and then they can roll that out elsewhere. Like in PvP, the Scourge ground targeting markings, a lot of the stuff that you saw in Heart of Thorns came from their raid development. Like a lot of the ground targeting stuff, the dodging from the Mordrum snipers, and I still hate those things. Stuff like that. So anytime their art team gets to, go wild on a 2K mount, that's stuff they learn that they can use in the future for other stuff. So yes, I do want to see crazier stuff from the 2K mounts.
Cool. And speaking of crazier stuff, another thing in the gem store, the Festive Harvest chair for 600 gems.
A chair?
Well, it's mostly a hay bale.
Okay. It's a bale of hay. Yeah, sure. Why not? Whatevs. Oh, cool. Different races have the different sit-in.
Yeah, but it just
I
seems
like hearing Mathanis work through each part of this and then like talking through it.
This is what you get when I don't have time to actually look into stuff. You get to see my reactions live on the show.
But I don't know. With this one, it's like, as you're seeing like the human one now, the female human, it's like they're almost like sitting waiting for a bus. They're just like 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 it seems
they're waiting. They're waiting for the tractor to come around for the hayride.
I was gonna say, it just seems like all the characters are pretty much bored.
Well, to be fair, that was the same look that the female character, the human characters had for the thrones. So
yeah. Also, like, you're sitting around on a hay bale waiting for anything. You're gonna be bored.
It just appeared out of nowhere. If a hay bale just appeared out of nowhere and I was just sitting on it, I'd be slightly astonished.
Oh.
Well, Deo, you're also not in a world. We don't live in a world with dragon magic, so
right. You'd be used to this.
Don't we?
It would certainly explain a lot of things.
I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, don't.
But yeah, you can pick that up for 600 gems. So, if you are a connoisseur of the chairs, make sure to grab that one up before it heads out, because it definitely seems seasonal. But yeah, also the Black Lion chest updated to the Alonian Halloween chest. And of course, you get the guaranteed Evan Nashblade Trick or Treat bag, like previous years. They have kind of like the slightly increased drop rates and stuff. But the Black Lion chests also have an uncommon drop. Like we showed before, you can actually get the Night Fang Griffin skin in there. But also the new item is the Envoy Scythe. It is a staff skin, but you can kind of see it here. It looks pretty cool.
Also, Gratz Kit. I saw you got that on Twitter. That's pretty
nice.
Congrats. Oh, I didn't get a chance to look at the screenshots all that well. It's all ethereal and shit. That's nice.
Yeah, it's really cool looking. I like it.
Now, my only wish is that Scythe was an actual weapon type, so that the fighting animation was better.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can grab that. And like I said, these are uncommon draws, but also from previous years, the Grasping Phantom Glider and the Gargoyle Weapon collections. Rare chance at the Shadow of the Mad King weapon set, the Blood and Madness weapon set, and the unused version of the Glyph of the Forester and the unused versions of the Glyph of the Unbound.
So, like, now that they've updated the Black Lion chest, does that mean that the rabbit backpack is in the trophy menu now?
I think it usually takes a little bit for it to reach the... I know.
I want my rabbit backpack.
I'd give you the one I have if it wasn't account bound.
If it wasn't attached to me. Oh.
I spent so much money on keys. It's ridiculous.
Hopefully you have enough Black Lion statuettes when they hopefully inevitably do reach there.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Chad is saying next cycle probably.
Well, I think they usually do it like they space it out one.
Right.
So
things don't go directly from there into there. Yeah.
As much as I would like them to do so, but
But speaking of that, there are a couple new things in the Black Lion statuette updates. Unfortunately not the bunny backpack. But you can get a new selection of die kits. Ooh.
Yay!
Yeah, if you want to, there you go, Arlie. Try and just burn all your Black Lion statuettes away before the bunny backpack gets in there.
The die kits can die in a fire.
Yeah, but what color would it end up being? Yeah.
Would it be purple fire?
Or green flame? That's probably for maybe just Havoc out there. Go watch Acquisitions Incorporated if you don't know. But also the exclusive Storm Dagger skin, the mini Spooky Mounts pack, and the Grasping Phantom Glider have been added to the Black Lion statuettes, which for people, if you're not aware of this, you basically get a Black Lion statuette every time you open a Black Lion chest, and I think when you click on it, it opens up basically a vendor window that has like past things that they kind of rotate in and out. So, if you weren't lucky enough to get it in a Black Lion chest through luck alone, hopefully you can purchase it outright with a Black Lion
some
statuette.
of the prices of some of the things, though, oh my god.
Yeah. Some additional items they've added were the Black Feather Wings backpack and glider, the White Feather Wings backpack and glider, the Hawk Wings backpack and glider. I'm noticing a trend. Cosmic Gathering Tools. Ooh. The Toxic Mantle and Toxic Glove skins have also been added. So
I do like that they're putting the gathering tools in. That gives you a way to like slowly build up to those and also get other stuff in the meantime.
Yep. That's a really good addition.
That means that Arlie can buy more Black Lion chests and then get, more musical instruments if they add them. Or, another set of flutes.
Yeah. I mean, you can never have too many flutes, really.
There's a band joke in there somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
Hey, I have 2 flutes and a piccolo over there.
I love
what's his power level?
No. Well, any other thoughts on Gem Store itself?
It's stuff. Buy stuff if you like the game and you want to support them.
I want my rabbit backpack.
You have to be patient. I might actually see if I have enough statuettes for the Storm Dagger skin because I thought that was pretty awesome.
That is a really cool dagger skin.
That and it would go really well since I like playing Tempest on my Elementalist. The Storm Dagger along with Howler, I think. Would be a good pairing. Yeah. That and I hate both of the legendary daggers.
Well, also the Storm Dagger with the Tempest Warhorn because it's kind of like the
North Wind.
Yeah, that would work too.
Yeah, that would be nice looking. Well, there you go. You're looking for Fashion Wars? Definitely pick up the Storm Dagger if you're an Elementalist. Seems like a no-brainer.
Yep.
But yeah, nice couple of cosmetic things. You know, you got your feather, you know, your winged backpacks in there, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, definitely check out that stuff. Last up we have Community Corner. So we got a good bit of stuff. Mad King's Raceway. You were kind of talking earlier that like you saw Doror actually post like a 20-second time limit.
Oh no, that was for the 20-second was for the original one that was released with the map that the Beetle Mount was on.
Okay. I was gonna say,
that wasn't Mad King's Raceway. That was the
I was gonna say, dang, and I was like, I didn't even hear about that. And all right, well, I was gonna say that makes this one less impressive, but no, it's now impressive. Yes, that is a word. But someone on Reddit actually showed off that they were able to do the Mad King's Raceway in under 50 seconds with no bond of vigor mastery. And then they clocked in at 49 seconds and 48, what is that, tenths of a second? Yeah, that's how it works. Milliseconds? Sure. I know time. But yeah, definitely.
That's pretty impressive, actually. I'm watching it right now. This is pretty nuts, because I know the second you roll into any of those tombstones, you come to a dead halt.
Yeah.
Tombstones, dead halt. Funny.
But yeah, so definitely check that out. It's a nice little video. Also, Mythrite Gambit, Kadim, the final boss, showed off the fastest kill by DNT. It was done in 6 minutes and 54 seconds. They have the VODs of the Warrior, the Daredevil Kiter, and the Daredevil DPS perspective. So definitely check that out. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good drifters out there.
I honestly think the Beetle, for as awesome as it is so terribly underutilized by the game's current content.
Well, I mean, they're slowly bringing about that stuff. I mean, it just came out, what, 2 updates ago?
There should be an official racetrack around, where was the Nightmare Tower? I can't remember that zone right now.
Oh,
Casix.
Yeah.
Casix Hills, a raceway around the lake? That'd be amazing.
Well, you can do it. You can just do it yourself. Why do you need rewards?
What's the leaderboard? The leaderboard. I don't care about the rewards. I want there to be a leaderboard for it, because that's the fun part.
So yeah, definitely check out the Mythrite Gambit, fastest kill. Also from Kroof Gaming, they kind of do a Guild Wars 2 tank showdown. It's pretty cool. I kind of liked it because they're basically comparing the Guardian, Warrior, Scrapper, and
Chronomancer.
Whoops.
Wow, Chloromancer.
That's Rift.
I actually wrote that one. I put it in there, so that's all on me. I don't know.
Been playing Rift lately?
Either that or Trove, but yeah. I don't know why I put Chloromancer.
I need to watch that, because I want to, like, tanking has been a thing that I've done a lot of.
What I like about it is I think it's a good introductory for someone that's maybe thinking about getting into raiding, because it's not like, here's these builds, because you could probably find the builds pretty easily because it's probably using the standard but it's more talking about the mentality and play style, which I think would help a newer person better. It's like, is this going to fit with you, or are you just going to feel like you are working when you're raiding? Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with that. And that's honestly, I think that's one of the things, like, people come into this chat and ask us for oh, it's not for raiding, QED. But one of the people come into chat often enough and they're like, what's the best class for this? And it's like literally all of them.
right.
Like there are differences in the output, but like it really comes down to how you like to play for a lot of things in Guild Wars 2, which I honestly think is amazing.
Yes.
Like it's a really good setup.
Well, apparently I messed it up. Apparently she deliberately says right in there that it's not for raiding, but I don't know. I feel like the mentalities still do carry over of like the play, like, I mean, how you have to play the Guardian or how you have to play the Warrior or well, more than likely you're probably only going to be playing Chronomancer. Arena, put in Chloromancer. Stat.
Oh my god.
That sounds like it would be a caster elite spec for Ranger.
Huh? Yeah, I know, because people are non-creative and just go Chronomancer or bust because people suck.
What?
No,
Oh, people demand Chrono Tank period the end.
Yeah. But
It's the
I don't
only
know.
tank in the game, right?
Yeah. I still think, I mean, what was it? Malthanas, when we were rating a little bit, you went, what, Guardian? Yeah. So, I think you could adapt this to a group of friends that are raiding, not necessarily pugging, because I wouldn't recommend pugging because it's a cesspool. Oh wait, I need to be balanced. It's a cesspool.
I can certainly see it being more of a problem trying to pug because it's
right.
Yeah, because they demand you have the kill credit and to do the the task.
That's been a problem in raiding since raiding was introduced.
Yeah, I know.
World of Warcraft, people would demand the achievement for the kill for heroic in order to get you into a pug for normal, and it's like, why would I be looking to run with you if I have already done it on heroic? And
Yep.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I definitely recommend checking out if you're more apt to the idea of being a tanky character and knowing the mentality, learning kind of the mentality and playstyle between the kind of more tanky professions out there. But also we have Pink Day in LA. It is actually happening today if you're watching this live on Twitch. It actually started at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, that was about 5 hours ago. But I think it's still going. It's a fundraiser event for raising money for the Canadian Cancer Society. They're doing lots of giveaways. I'll throw out the website for people in chat. But yeah, definitely check it out. Donate and be a good person.
I was actually talking about Pink Day in LA with a coworker the other day because I was talking about how the dye economy in Guild Wars 1 was a big deal and you had to mix dyes, and it's like
Right, yeah.
And Guild Wars and ArenaNet was like, this is all for like a really good cause. Here is just a viable pink dye.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that was really one of the cooler things that I've ever seen a dev do for a just kind of community created event. But also kind of speaking of charities and whatnot, the Guild Mag Annual is now taking pre-orders, and
yay, pre-order.
Yep. It is for World Child Cancer. So, you're already helping Canadian cancer. Help the world cancer. Well, no. Help fight against the world cancer. That's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was one of those things we were joking about how like so many of the cancer fighting organizations sound like they want to give cancer to people just in the way their name is formatted. It's really funny. Serious. That goes across the board.
It does kind of, yeah. But you kind of gotta keep it short and sweet. But yeah, it does sound pretty bad.
But yeah, I think Miko was saying the other day that we are over 100 issues sold already. So
wow, didn't they just start last week?
I think we just started this week. I think it was like at the beginning of this past week.
Dang.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think they just started announcing that they were gonna push out the stuff last Saturday because we were like,
right, are
we gonna put it in? Because it was like literally like, so if anything, it was just right around a week. I mean, but yeah, that's awesome. It's such a high quality thing. Like I said, if we ever have Age come back on, I know he has his magazines that he can kind of show off, and they're top quality. I mean.
If he ever gets out from under this hell project.
Yeah. And yes, QED, I believe Extra Life is next week for the ArenaNet streaming thing. But so I think that is it for this week.
Yay.
Malthanis, where can they find you?
I can be found on Twitter at MalthanisMMO. You can also find me here on twitch.tv/MAADrealms every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Vote to Kick, our weekly gaming show where we discuss whether to kick or keep bits from the gaming industry. And then after that, we have ranked PvP with Zero to Hero. Deo's going to be on with me.
I'm gonna try.
And since it's off season, we might just roll into WW shenanigans after that.
Oh, snap.
Because I know Deo's not a fan of PvP, but a fan of WW, so I can get him to play that with me.
Yeah, you'll have me in there a lot longer than PvP.
Yeah. Yeah, PvP was like, oh, this is what the new Heart of the Mist looks like. Bye.
It kind of was. I'm not gonna lie.
So.
Like, hey, while you're in here, let's play a game. No, I'm good.
I think I remember that.
Oh, QED, you want to do that? Okay, we can put that on the next one. We'll figure out who to put on talk for that one.
And since chat can't see it, it's net neutrality voter kick. Definitely submit it. I'll try to grab the form, like if you want to submit it, or if we have it on there already. I'm not sure.
You just linked it in general chat on the Discord.
Well, yeah, I don't have the Discord open though. But if you want to, go over to our Discord. There you go. Oh. Look, cross promotional plugs.
I'll grab it.
Even before we get to Harley, where can they find you? The longest outro ever.
Oh my god. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Arlie82, also on Instagram, Arlie82, and I'm around doing things, places, everywhere. Yay.
There you go. She's around everywhere. Every time a bell rings, Arlie writes an article. I don't know.
Feels like it.
There you go. But yeah, you can find me at simply_Dale on Twitch and Twitter, and hopefully eventually find some time to stream. I know, broken record, but if you are just popping at the very end, do stick around. We do a bit of an after show. We do highlight this on Twitch, twitch.tv/MAADrealms, 2 A's in the MAAD. If that is your preferred method, or we do throw this up on our YouTube, it's youtube.com/MAADrealms, 2 A's in the MAAD, of course. And that goes up on Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. But hey, if you want to catch everything all in one nice little place, because yeah, it's like, oh, I gotta go to this website or this website. We have our own website, and it's maadrealms.com, 2 A's in the MAAD. And that's actually where we put our audio only version of this podcast, since people have been asking about it. So definitely head on over there and check it out. It usually goes up right around the same time as like we throw it up on YouTube, so about Sundays at noon Eastern. But yeah, definitely check it out, and we'll see everybody next time and in the game. Take care, everybody.